dut, 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 bow, wow, 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 da da da. Ooh, I was living for the weekend, but no, not anymore. And here comes that familiar feeling. That familiar is a hard word to sing. Familiar, because I think I say familiar, but I think it's like familiar, familiar, familiar. No, see, I say familiar, 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 familiar. Here's that familiar. No. Familiar feeling that the Friday's famous for. Yeah, I'm looking for some action, and it's out there somewhere. You can feel the electricity on the evening air, and it may just be more of the same. Dut, dut, dut. But sometimes you wanna go where everyone knows your name. So I guess I'll have to wait and see if I'm just gonna let something brand new happen to me. And it's alright. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Bright lights in the big city. It belongs to us tonight. Ah, I got the magic in me. I'm gonna perform the whole thing. Every time I touch that track, it turns into gold. Ooh, whoa. 'Cause everybody knows I got the magic in me. When I hit the floor, the girls come snapping at me. No, everybody wants some presto magic. Dun, 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 blow your mind. Pick a verse, any verse, I'll hypnotize you with every line. I need a volunteer, how about you, with the eyes? Come on down to the front and sit right here and don't be shy. So come on, come all, and see the show tonight. Prepared to be astounded, no ghost, no poltergeist. I know I'm no Pinocchio, I never told a lie. They call me Mr. Magic Man, I float on cloud 9. And then Skylar Astin and Ben Plaquemine, and they're like, I got the magic in me. I got the magic, baby. Every time I touch that track, it turns into gold. Oh, yes, it turns to gold. So I don't know if you can tell, but I can quite literally perform every single pitch perfect number. 1 and 2, I don't know. I don't know anything about 3. But 1 and 2 at the very minima, I know I can perform every single note, every single lyric, no matter the song. And know what's crazy? Is a lot of people give Haley Steinfeld flack for that scene where she sings Flashlight in the middle of a riff-off. But here's the thing. Like, okay, I've never been in a riff-off. It seems like a stressful environment. It seems like an environment that, like I want to do a riff off in real life because I think I could actually do it. I think the most complicated part is, like, you have to be so in sync and know your roles so well in your a cappella group, which I've never even been in a choir, but I'm just saying, like, from, like, a strategic perspective, you got to be in sync with your people, which is kind of the plot point of the fucking thing, is, like, they're not in sync with each other, so they're not winning, but the troublemakers are in sync with each other, so they won. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still got a bond. And then they do the just the way you are fucking thing in the middle of the pool or whatever. But I actually have a long list of things to talk about today because so much has happened since I last recorded. Like, Coachella has happened, Weekend 2 has happened. Olivia Rodrigo literally came out with a single. Like, I know everything is bad. Dude, everything's bad and everything's, like, literally horrific. And we're at war with each other and with the world. And everything that should be going right is going wrong. Do you know how good it feels, brother? It literally brings a smile to my face. Do you know how good it feels to live in New York and have Mondani as your mayor? Like, I feel genuine. Like, I can't stop smiling. Because it's like, it's pure, just like effervescent joy. That's the only way I can describe it. Everything is melting and everyone is drowning. And Mom Donnie is literally here with like a floaty and a pina colada being like, you guys, it's gonna be okay because I'm here. And I'm like, you're right. Like, that's why I'm so happy, because I know we have a future because of Mom Donnie. Anyways, everything is so bad, but let's be honest, when there's a recession and when everything is bad, that usually means the art's really good. And that's kind of the balance of life. That's kind of the balance of the universe, is there's equal good with equal bad. And so things are so fucking bad right now, politically and just evolutionarily, in terms of like AI and climate change, which I'll talk about that as well, girl, because oh my god. Basically what I want to say is the music and the art coming out right now is so great. And Drop Dead by Olivia Rodrigo, I mean, I don't have much else to say besides this is a perfect song. Here's the thing. Okay, I need to already calm down. This song I've already listened to it through like 1,000 different edits, and I can tell you, the more I listen to it, the more I love it. The more context that it gets applied to, the more I love it. This song is going to be in trailers. This song is going to be in pivotal points in movies. This song is going to inspire other art. And I think it's so important. Like, to me, Sabrina Carpenter's performance at Coachella, which is another thing I want to talk about, so I'll talk about it right now. Sabrina Carpenter, to me, is such a representation of like the Gen Z pop star. I mean, obviously, that it's crazy to say there's one. Like, there is multiple pop stars of every generation. I think Olivia Rodrigo is a Gen Z pop star to a T as well. But I'm saying specifically Sabrina, she's really like put herself in icon territory with this Coachella performance. Like, and I think Gen Z has a real affinity to nostalgia. I think Gen Z has a real affinity to aesthetic in a way that no other generation has had. And I think Gen Z has a real affinity to pop culture. And every generation has had an affinity to pop culture. But there's something about Gen Z that, because we have social media and we have every reference at the tip of our fingers, and we've grown up with every reference at the tip of our fingers, there's so much lore to just being a person that had a phone since you've been 12. I mean, the fact that I can reference every Vine that was popular ever, and I didn't even have Vine. This is the type of knowledge that I couldn't even teach someone for the first time. You have to watch hundreds of hours of social media to understand the references that the average Gen Z person understands. Sabrina Carpenter, I mean, name the amount of references she has in her concert, and then name the amount of references she has in Coachella. I mean, she's referencing Thelma and Louise. She's referencing, she basically did a monologue, like a full-on RuPaul's Drag Race monologue in her show. She's referencing like 70s Hollywood, and I'm so sorry I don't remember the actress's name, but in the sweater and the black tie, she's referencing a very specific actress and performer who did that outfit and was like very famous, and I'm so sorry I don't remember her name. But I feel like it's like Annette, but I don't know. She's referencing that. She's referencing In Tears. She's referencing Rocky Horror. I think almost in every music video besides, and maybe even Manchild, I don't know, she's referencing another thing and doing it glamorized pop, like pop girly Gen Z version of it. And same thing with her concert. She had Mamma Mia references. She had like Barbie references. She is an amalgamation of 1,000 different references. Even Sabrina Carpenter's aesthetic in general is like, it's like Taylor Swifty mixed with Marilyn Monroe, mixed with like this like 1950s traditional girl. Like, there's definitely 1950s in there, and I guess she's moving more towards the 70s in this era, but she is like a scrapbook of so many pop culture things rolled into one. It's kind of like Trixie Mattel. Trixie Mattel works in 1,000 different contexts because Trixie Mattel finds the like pink blonde girl in every version of life. Though she's Malibu Beach 60s, she's also every era because she can be applied to anything. That's kind of how I see Sabrina. Sabrina can match to any era because she is mutable to whatever the blonde Hollywood bombshell of that time would be. This performance was balls to the walls. Like, literally, when I was watching this performance, I just was like, money. Money, money, money. She had, like, the amount of money. Like, that's literally all I can think of. The amount of money that went into this fucking performance. Millions. Like, obviously millions, but, like, tens of millions of dollars. Like, there was so much production. There were multiple cameos from, like, iconic actors to, like, other, like, Madonna. Like, I can't even tell you the amount of money that went into this, but let me tell you, it fucking worked. I think her sugar talking performance is unbelievable. I think her performance of My Man on His Willpower with walking on the treadmill with, like, I've been listening to that song on repeat, imagining that I'm doing that, like walking on a treadmill, being Sabrina Carpenter at Coachella, since I've watched her performance. You know when you're listening to an album and you don't listen to one song, and then at some point you do listen to that song, you're like, fuck, this is the best song in the whole fucking album, I've been skipping it, because I've been more focused on other songs? That's really what I mean. It's like, I was listening to Tears, and I was listening to When Will You Get Hot, and, like, I was so focused on those songs that I was like, I don't really care about these other songs. And now I'm tapping into those songs and I'm like, damn, My Man on His Willpower and Sugar Talking are literally, like, some of the best songs in the whole album. And going back to what I really wanted to say, Justin Bieber's performance juxtaposed Sabrina Carpenter's performance. Like I said, Sabrina Carpenter had money, honey. Every single song was basically a play. It had an incredibly meticulous, detailed set. Everything's bedazzled. Everything has 1,000 dancers and a larger than life experience. You have moving cars. You have wet water fountains coming out that represent, I guess, her pussy. That's how wet her pussy is that there's water fountains everywhere. But, like, that level of production, like, it's basically a Broadway musical for an hour and a half of her discography. You know what I'm saying? And then you have Justin Bieber, who, like, his first night was him watching music videos. An incredibly, like, stripped back performance. I understand. If you put both of those side by side on paper, you're going to be like, Justin Bieber's phoning it in and Sabrina Carpenter is, like, such a better performer. I actually dug through some files recently, meaning I rewatched the first 15 minutes of Never Say Never. Once again, something about these documentaries is, when I was a kid, I don't think you're watching a lot of documentaries, but these are the documentaries that I watched, was One Direction, and, like, Demi Lovato documentaries, and Justin Bieber documentaries. I guess that was, like, the way I got into documentaries, to be completely honest with you, was like, watching these pop star documentaries. And the Katy Perry documentary. Oh my gosh, where were you when you saw the Katy Perry documentary? Crazy. Oh my god. Dude, that brings me back. But anyways, let me tell you something. Justin Bieber was giving you that Sabrina Carpenter type of performance when he was 14 years old. When he was 14, he was doing that. Okay? And in that documentary, the way the documentary starts is it literally starts with just clicking on random viral videos in the early days of YouTube. I think in it there's literally D's Nuts, maybe. I don't really remember. But it's literally like Star Wars Kid, Charlie Bit My Finger, like the OG YouTube videos. Once again, it's like me explaining this internet lore that goes back this far. Like, I remember watching those videos for the first time. I remember being a little kid, single digits, watching Charlie Bit My Finger, Star Wars Kid, and watching the Justin Bieber, the Justin Bieber song, like, cover of the Chris Brown song. And I remember watching Justin Bieber's Baby music video. I remember that, dude. I've seen that music video so many times. And what can I say? He's a star. But nonetheless, he is the pop star to come out of YouTube, honey. It's Justin Bieber. the entire idea of you could be discovered and found, which is like everyone that is like relevant in social media today, you would not be here if it wasn't for Justin Bieber being discovered on YouTube. Now people go to YouTube to find art and to find creators and to find artists and all those things, okay? So for him to be a fully grown man, like what, a decade and a half later, so much life has happened. So much history has happened. So much personal things. So many personal things has happened. He has a child. He is a married man. He has gone on such an evolution of life. So for him to be doing a performance where just like you did when you were in your home looking through music videos and watching the Justin Bieber music video on your family computer in your living room with all your friends and siblings around you, he's doing that in front of you, watching those videos with you as someone who was one of the videos. That in and of itself is it's very reflective. It's taking ownership of something that was taken from you. It is an artistic experience, a heartwarming experience, a connective experience, a reclaiming, empowering experience and performance. I understand if you're not gonna do put in the effort to understand, I don't know, just a little bit of why he's doing what he's doing, then I get it. He's watching YouTube videos on stage. What's the big deal? I thought it was really meaningful and really beautiful, and he looked so happy performing these songs that he was performing when he was in really bad, dark places, and to be making dark things his own and reclaiming them and liking them. And he literally said on stage he was harmonizing with his younger self in the music video that got him discovered, where he's singing a cover of a Chris Brown song in his room, in his like family living room. And he literally says, oh my gosh, I'm literally gonna get emotional, I'm not even kidding. Whew. He literally says, I was just a kid who loved singing. I was just a kid who loved to sing. And my God, those pipes, brother. Those pipes. I mean, there's a reason he's Justin Bieber, man. You know what? I just finished watching The Piano Teacher. And I'm like, I want art like this. And because, look, I'm not saying my personal life is anything like The Piano Teacher, but I can understand that there was someone at some point on this earth that was just like the piano teacher. And even though I'm different from that person, I want her to be able to fucking be herself and find joy too, bitch. And where's the nuance in that? This woman was straight up a bad person, but also like, I get her. I get her, dude. I totally get it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I can disagree with you. I can understand that you literally, like, you hurt a child. You, like, literally cut up a little girl's piano player's hands so that you could have sex with this guy. And know what, girl? I wouldn't have personally done that, but I still love you. I still see you. I still hear you, dude. And, of course, this is a fictional character. But I'm just saying, like, just because someone makes a mistake or someone does something different than you doesn't necessarily mean that you're in a place to judge those people. I'm going on a tangent about The Piano Teacher. What I really want to talk about is Justin Bieber. I care that he's happy. And so for him to be on stage alone, vulnerable with an audience after years and years and years of his entire life performing with dancers and electronics and fire and like cinematography and like fashion and doing every single choreographed dance move for the entire 2-hour show. He's been doing that his whole life. And the art he's making now is stripped back and personal. And yes, it's not as like bright lights Broadway musical as Sabrina Carpenter, but it's still important and it's still special and it's still really great. And I think we can all agree that Billie Eilish, One Less Lonely Girl, I mean, that is an iconic moment once again. That is a special moment. That is a moment that makes me happy. And then Addison Rae, once again, just want to say I love you. I support you. I see what you're doing. I think what you're doing is great and good and important. And, like, Honestly, here's the thing, right? Ariana Grande's album Positions and Eternal Sunshine and Sweetener. Actually, a lot of her songs. A lot of her albums really are like albums that are really positive, beautiful albums to put in your ear because, quite frankly, girl, there's some manifesting powers in that shit. And so when people hate on Addison Rae, I'm like, girl, when I listen, let me tell you what it's like to be me. For 5 seconds. Can you just walk with me for 5 seconds? I have Addison Rae in my AirPods. I'm walking around Times Square about to go see Mile End Kicks with Devon Bostick and Barbie Fiera. I have a salted caramel iced latte in my hands, and it's sprinkling in April in New York. I get to have that experience, and I would not be telling you about this situation unless it was within the context of Addison Rae as the soundtrack to that experience. Addison Rae is a manifesting album. Addison Rae is a spiritually healing album. People are pretty quick to judge, and then hindsight's 2020, and then it's like, oh, well, you're clutching your pearls at things that we have context for 10 years later, but you can't even see what you're doing right in front of you when you're attacking someone. She's making really great art, and she's evolved to be an artist. Literally, Olivia Rodrigo's album is going to come out. Her third album is going to come out. And it's going to change everyone's life. Ariana Grande is coming out with her 8th and maybe last album for a while this year. What? I'm like, what, dude? Casey Musgraves is coming out with an album in May. Those are literally like my top 3 girls. Those are my top 3 girls, and I'm getting album in May, album in June, and I don't know when Ariana Grande is releasing her album, but I'm hoping sometime soon. Like, I'm grateful. Take this moment. Breathe in and breathe out. We have gorgeous, unbelievable, life-changing is going to be the soundtrack to your life music coming out within the next couple of months. If you were suicidal before, girl, you don't have to be suicidal anymore. Because you have something to live for. You have something to look forward to. Hey, at least that's me, girl. At least I'm speaking for myself, girl. I just feel so blessed. And I do want to talk about Mile End Kids with Devon Bosnick and Barbie Fiera. This movie was produced by Matt Johnson, and it takes place in Toronto. They go to Montreal. I loved this movie. This movie, I feel so lucky once again to live in a time that Barbie Fiera is like a character actress. I just feel lucky to have a girl in cinema who's a main character who fucking gets it. You know what I mean? And Barbie gets it. She knows exactly the movie she's in. She knows exactly who she is in this movie. And she is doing it flawlessly. And honestly, deeply and truly. Like, she's holding true, and she's cool in the movie, and she's interesting in the movie, and she's smart in the movie. I loved this movie. And I cannot talk about this movie without talking about Devon Bosnick. Okay, girl. I've actually talked about Roderick Rules before, and talked about actually how much I deeply respect and love that movie, and think that movie is actually a very quality, good movie. Like a high movie, like a high level movie. And there's not even like a level of like irony in what I'm saying. Like, I think those movies are so good. And those movies would not be possible without Roderick and my personal true love and affection towards him. And him in this movie, he gives a monologue, and once again, it takes my breath away. He gives a monologue in this movie to Barbie Fiera. And he basically, like, spoiler alert, he basically confesses his love for her. And he plays like this, oh my god! He plays like this socially awkward guy in a band. Oh, he's so hot in this movie! Ah! He's so hot in this movie. Okay. He plays like this socially awkward guy who's celibate in this movie, in this like 2011 Canada like indie alt band movie. And Ew! He's holding a dildo in his hand. Her dildo in his hand. And he says, I'm not good with words, but I found myself at the grocery store the other day thinking about what is her favorite melon. That is actually a thought I had. And then I had a thought of what would we do if we were at a water park and our kids were running through the park. And I don't know why, but I'm in love with you. It's not, he doesn't say I don't know why, but he's like, I'm in love with you. And he lists all these examples, all these mundane, like crazy fucking things that like you don't even need to know about a person, but you want to know about a person. Just the minute little minuscule doesn't matter tiny little things about her. And like Barbie's really going through it in this movie, girl. Like she's been through a lot and he's like protective of her. And he's just like you guys, I have chills thinking about this movie. And Jay Baruchel is in this movie, playing a role that I'm like, at some point, Jay Baruchel, like Baruchel, is gonna play in a movie, and he's playing it in this movie. It's like a role that I always knew he would play, and that's no disrespect. I think he's a talented actor, and he can do a lot. And I loved him in Blackberry, and I think he's a very multifaceted person. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of inevitable that he's gonna play this role. You know what I mean? That sounds so mean, but it's not. I love him as an actor, and like, it actually had very romantic, beautiful, interesting writing that I've never seen before in a movie that really moved me and made me kind of believe in love again. Is that crazy to say? It's the truth. It's the truth, girl. I'm just going to talk about myself for 5 seconds and then I might go because I don't know how long I've been recording. I went out Friday night. And actually, the thumbnail to this video, to this YouTube video version of this podcast, will be a picture of me at Cane's at like 2 a.m. after this night, drunk out of my mind, which I'm sure you can tell from the photo. I got really drunk. Okay, then the next day, Saturday, I spent the full day recovering, and I want you to guess how many times I threw up. For me, before this year of my life, I would say I threw up once a year. And when I threw up, it was like the worst day of the whole year. It takes a lot for me to throw up. I don't like throwing up. I don't want to throw up. I am throwing up as a last fucking resort. So if I'm throwing up, it's fucking serious. I don't have any patience. Everything is as serious as possible because I don't want to throw up. So if I am throwing up, I can't control my fucking body and I'm in a lot of pain to get there. And throwing up is the only answer. I threw up 7 times. I couldn't even keep water down. All I wanted was to drink water. You know what's real humbling, girl? You know what's real humbling? Is literally, you can't sleep because you keep waking up due to how much you're throwing up, how much pain's in your stomach. And then all you want is some water. And every like 20 minutes after you drink a couple sips of fucking water, bitch, you throw it up. That's humbling. And, I really do think, like, I did not drink in college, so I really drank once I turned, well, that's not really true, but I started going out and drinking once I moved to New York, and I do it maybe like once or twice a month. This was one of those moments where I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to drink for the next couple months. I'm not going to drink until, like, this was the worst hungover. I don't even really think it was a hangover. I think it was a hangover mixed with, like, a bunch of other stuff because it was too insane to be a hangover. You know what I mean? It was like, I had a headache, that's normal hangover behavior. You throw up, you don't feel well, that's normal hangover behavior. Throwing up 7 times, I think it has something to do with my iron deficiency. I think it has something to do with the fact that I started my period that day. I think it had something to do with the fact that, like, I'm trying a new iron medication. I think it was, like, a lot of factors with the hungover that made it as bad as it was. That being said, damn, like, I have been sicker this year than I ever have in my life. Like, I usually do not get sick. I almost kind of pride myself on the fact that I don't get sick. And I've been sicker this year than my entire life. It's crazy. And that actually brings me to Lena Dunham's book, Fame Sick. I recently got a library card to the local public library, not even kidding, dog, to check out this book because I don't know anything and I don't know how fast it takes for like a book that's released to come into a library. I don't know if it takes if when it's released it's just given out to public libraries. I did find Alan Cumming's second memoir and I'm reading that right now and he's such a good writer. And I love Alan Cumming so much. And I can honestly do a fucking whole episode on how much I love Alan Cumming and how much like he's deeply inspired me. And like I'm reading this book right now on the train when I go to and from work. So I'm not through the book yet, but he's a very good writer. He's a very good writer, and I love Alan Cumming so fucking much. He's probably like in my like top 4 Letterboxd favorite actors. I'm not even kidding. Oh, I love Alan Cumming. Literally off the top of my head, I'm going to name you some performances that are my favorite performances of all time. Of anyone ever. Josie and the Pussycats, Alan Cumming. Okay? Alan Cumming in Eyes Wide Open. That scene with him and Tom Cruise, it's one of my favorite scenes ever. But like the thing about acting, I guess, or whatever, is you can go as big as you want. You can do anything really in acting as long as you mean it. And as long as you commit to it. And as long as you like live it and own it. You can go as big as you want. And I feel like that once you like see it through that lens, it's like that scene, he is absolutely overperforming that scene. And that scene it's almost like the scene from Rocky Horror Picture Show when he's singing the anticipation. That scene, it's like that, but in this movie. But he commits to it and it works. And it feels like it could be real. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel over the top. It feels anticipatory. And it feels like you're listening in on a conversation that you shouldn't be listening into. Because he commits to it and he owns it and he lives the scene. Those two, and then him in fucking Spy Kids as the villain. He commits to that. That's why I love him. I guess I am talking about Alan Cumming. That's why I love him. Is because he can be in a very like uppity, serious movie. I mean, he's been in Oscar-nominated movies. He's been in superhero movies. He's been in children's movies. He's been in animated movies. He's been in like pop, girly, campy, indie movies. He's been character actors. He's done every single thing. For crying out loud, he did Cabaret, which is my favorite musical of all time. His performance in Cabaret is revelatory and is an all-timer performance. I mean, he has a Tony for it. Like, girl, people get Tonys for a reason, and Alan Cumming has a Tony for Cabaret for a fucking reason. Look it up, okay? And if you don't like Eddie Redmayne's version of Cabaret, like, you're wrong. Like, you don't get it. I get it if you don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's freaky, but that's kind of the fucking point, dog. So, like, Eddie Redmayne is supposed to make you uncomfortable because the idea of a regime taking over a country that is trying to completely, demolish a civilization should make you feel uncomfortable, girl. So his performance making you feel uncomfortable and making you feel really creepy and like it's doing what it's meant to do because the feeling of a Nazi regime should make you uncomfortable and uneasy. That's like the whole point of Cabaret. But I get it, girl. If you don't understand the musical, then you don't understand the performance. And, like, I understand if you like other ones better than his. I just really appreciate and respect his take on it. And I love that he went there as a performer. But whatever, girl. Anyways, Alan Cumming, in Romy and Michelle, he is, like, the dream guy. He's so hot and, like, lovely and Prince Charming-y in that movie. And he's so funny in that movie. I just love Alan Cumming so much. And I could name you so many performances by him that I'm like, it's unlike anything else. No one else could do it. He's one of a kind. He's an original. He's one of the true originals. And y'all don't understand originals because y'all copy. Y'all don't want to understand true art. But Alan Cumming is a true artist. And y'all just want to get that. Y'all just want to get that like I get that. That's why he's one of my favorite fucking actors of all fucking time, bitch. I'm not going to try and rehash anything, but I am going to rehash something really quick. Because it's something I've never seen anyone else talk about. And it's something that I'm like, girl, we need to talk about this. So, okay, but do y'all remember Skin? Okay. I know people don't want to talk about Skin. And I'm not really here to even talk about Skin. What I am going to talk about is something between Joshua Bassett and Olivia Rodrigo. All I have to say, though, is, like, Skin was low-key fucked up, but whatever. Like, that's the thing. I can still appreciate Sabrina Carpenter and support Sabrina Carpenter and admit that Skin was, like, not the move. It was, like, a weird thing to do. It was not a girl's girl move. And the reason that she got so much backlash was because of that song that she released that was, like, very, like, not chill to do to a teenage girl. And that being said, I still love her and I still like fucking support Sabrina Carpenter and like, I don't know, once again, it's back to the piano teacher of it all. It's like, I can understand people make different choices than me and I can disagree with people and I can still be like, hey girl, I still think you deserve to be fucked the way you want to be fucked. You know what I mean? Okay, whatever. There's a song called Do It All Again by Joshua Bassett. This song was written about Olivia Rodrigo. I don't ever see people talking about this song. It's like, how am I supposed to think about anyone else? What am I supposed to be out of myself? I am done pretending I like no one else. I don't really remember the whole thing, but that's kind of the gist. Olivia Rodrigo in the song Favorite Crime on Sour. She has a lyric that says, And now every time a siren sounds, I wonder if you're around because you know that I do it all again. Okay? I do it all again. Lyric reference to the Joshua Bassett song, I do it all again, they wrote for Olivia Rodrigo. Then, Joshua Bassett comes out with an EP called I'm Sorry. All 3 songs in it are good. All 3 songs are literally the epitome of like, girl, and I'm going to say this 1,000 times because you know what? It's the truth. And if you learn one thing from me, take this morsel. If a boy ghosts you or breaks up with you or wrongs you in any fucking possible way, girl, you know what that fucking boy's going to do every fucking time? He's going to come back. He's going to come back. And Olivia Rodrigo knew he was going to come back. And then you're like, actually, no, if I'm not enough for you, you're not enough for me, bitch, which is what the fucking song is about. Enough for you, bitch. And they're like, okay, I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone who would just leave me like that. And then he comes back and is like, you were the best thing that ever happened to me. In one of those songs, I'm pretty sure it's the first song, Would You Love Me Now? He says another lyric, I do it all again. That is 3 times that they are referencing in songs written about each other. Like these are songs that they are writing to the other person by themselves. I'm literally in the butterfly position right now. Olivia Rodrigo coded. We have a song called Do It All Again written about Olivia Rodrigo. She said that I would do it all again in Favorite Crime. He says I do it all again in Would You Love Me Now? And the whole EP is how he would low-key do it all again. And then she writes Strangers Again, which is about how, like, she can't believe she went through all that shit about just some guy because you're just some guy. It's so real. You know, it's so real. I just wanted to point this out. It's nothing to really do with Sabrina Carpenter. It's just like, you know, it's just, I think, like, something that I've always noticed that I wanted to talk about. But can you believe he put out that EP? Like, Joshua. I'm glad you did because the songs are good, but Joshua. I saw you in Little Shop of Horrors and you did incredible, bruh. There's this podcast, this music podcast that did like they don't just do Miley Cyrus stuff. They've done like a bunch of albums, but they went through every single song in every single Miley Cyrus album in anticipation for her new album, Something Beautiful, to come out. And then they interviewed her about after they went through every single album of her life and really dissected them through like an artistic viewpoint and kind of like a hindsight, contextual viewpoint. And in that podcast, I'm so sorry I don't remember the name right now, they have this thing that was like, what song in the album before the next album is like a preview for what the next album is to come. So I think if there's like a preview for the next Olivia Rodrigo album, you would think it would be So American, right? Because that's the first love song she's ever written. That is the song that's about Louis Partridge, right? That's how you say his name. That's the song that is like on Guts and ends on the Deluxe. It's the happy note, right? You would think that's the song that leads into this next album. I don't think that's the song that leads into this next album. I think the song that leads into the next album is actually Scared of My Guitar. And I think I'm going to say something crazy, but also it's not crazy. I think Scared of My Guitar might be one of my, I was about to say her best song. I'm scared to say that because I'm like, I think every single Olivia Rodrigo song is the best song ever made. But Scared of My Guitar talks about something that touches me so deeply. Whoa. This is the third time I'm getting emotional. The first time was Devon Bostick. The second time was Devon Bostick. And the third time is Scared of My Guitar by Olivia Rodrigo. Oh! Like, it's so real. And I can't believe she put that song out. It's just like such a vulnerable concept because it's admitting to like a really ugly thing that honestly I see in myself as well. And that's why it just hits so close. I just think like, dude, like this is just levels of songwriting that I'm like, I'm never gonna not be a fan. Like these songs will forever be my favorite songs of my life just because they're such quality. And I think that's the kind of the taste for this next album. I love the drop. I love Drop Dead. I already talked about how much I love the fucking Versailles music video and like the pink guitars, the Petra Collins, her running through Versailles in like knee-high socks, listening to a song on her headphones. Like her going through the gardens. Like, it is maybe for me and my personal taste, aesthetically, one of my favorite music videos I've ever seen. And it really does capture the essence of the song, and that's what a music video is supposed to do. And not every music video does that, in my opinion. Sometimes I'm like, you just wanted to like look cool. That's kind of how I feel. Sometimes I'm like, I think you wanted to look cool versus like the way the song makes me feel aesthetically. I guess it's just a difference of opinion, really. But I feel like the song makes me feel differently than it makes you feel. That song is like how I would feel, and she represented it in like the coolest, most artistic, gorgeous, feminine little way. Big way. It wasn't little, it was big. But still personal and like vulnerable and happy and young and full of life. You know, that music video is full of life. And it's just her in the fucking Versailles. You know what I mean? Okay, whatever. I feel like I've talked about so much and yet nothing at all. So I want to talk about climate change and then I'll really end the episode. So last week in New York, it was hot as balls. So hot that I was like wearing shorts, walking outside Central Park, and like putting on sunscreen. Like it was full on the summer. It was so hot, so fast. It was in April in New York, and it went from snow and ice and freezing coldness to hot as balls, to the point that like the cherry blossoms were burning because it was heating up so fast, and it was so hot so fast. And now it's back to being chilly. I'm sure it'll be hot as balls again in a couple days or a week. But oh my God. It is just like, I can feel the weather, bitch. And it's fucking insane. The spectrum that it is flying to at a rapid pace constantly. I'm going to end it now. I'm going to end it all. No, I'm not going to end it all. But I am going to end the podcast episode. So I love you, dude, and Roderick Heffley or Devon Bostick, whatever you want me to call you, I'll call you that. I want you to know, like, I'm 22, you're 34. I understand it's a big age gap. I understand when I was an infant, you were 12. I understand that. And I don't even respect men who date that have a huge age gap. I don't respect that in a person. I'm willing to break my moral rules because I literally am in love with you. Like, I'm in love with you. Do you understand the gravity of the situation? I'm not saying I have a crush on you, like I dream. No. I am in love with you. And I don't mean that in a threatening way. I mean that as like an opportunistic way of like, take advantage of the situation. Like you're like a person in the world and I'm a person in the world, and I'm fun, and like you should give me a chance. And like I know you're being like, this is pathetic, but it's actually taking advantage of the moment. And I would give you such a great life. I'm gonna go.